All right, we are now live. Um, yeah, so like I said, I don't know about you guys, but I had a lot of trouble with that dang Excel sheet.
Yeah,
It's kind of a mess.
Um, I don't like. Are the numbers supposed to adjust when you put them in the green boxes? Because pretty
Right?
sure that's the point of them.
Well, and yeah, like the whole point of this was to like it says to like start adjusting the numbers in like the yellow numbers or the numbers that are in the yellow boxes. So I start like adjusting those numbers, and the only numbers it's adjusting is like the cash flow from investing, but it says we need to like pay particular attention to the borrowing base calculation. And like I put like 5,000 for some of those and it didn't change it once. So I was like, it's not even working.
Yeah.
Yes, one of the things it was it's just to use the base one, and then because in the node on the step one it says a node at the top. Please use the base case financial model to conduct your analysis for step one. Other
Yeah.
than computing the required ratios in question one, you do not need to change any assumption in the financial model to answer the question. And
Yeah.
that same note is in the other ones. So that is why I was just taking the base and then using a couple of formulas to calculate the margins on the debt equity ratios. That's what I just did.
Yeah.
In step 3, what threw me off was that in step 3 at the very top, the second sentence says by changing the forecast assumptions shaded in yellow, you can adjust the financial model to identify key drivers of his cash flow, blah, 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 blah. And I like tried changing those and didn't get really anywhere with it.
What step was that?
Step 3 at the very top.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't scroll up, so I didn't see that. Yeah, I don't, because when I change the numbers in the yellow too, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, and then like on the summary financial model, at the top it was saying pay particular attention to the borrowing base calculation at the bottom. And I go to that and I try and make adjustments, and that didn't change at all. So I was just like, I don't even know what I'm doing wrong or what, but it drove me crazy.
Kind of, yes.
I got to the point where I just laid flat on the floor for like 15 minutes. Yeah. Anyways, the first question is assess this venture from Jim Sharpe's perspective.
That was very interesting because he was trying to purchase something. He was not even thinking if it was a good company or no, something outstanding or no. Just he wanted to get something by his own. And in the end, what he got was just a company was just going down with sales, going down with inventory, going down with everything. A company pretty much dying.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And it was interesting because like at some point it said like he was looking for like a broken company because the different job opportunities he had at like General Electric and these other places, he was like taking these broken down departments and then trying to fix them or trying to cut costs. So I think he was like looking for a broken company he could buy really cheap, fix it up, and then turn around and sell it for a good return.
I think his problem was like he didn't want to give up any equity, which is fine. But the problem is I feel like he needed a little bit more money to actually do stuff.
To
go faster.
He was not even able to talk to the customers, not even to the employees of his future company. He was prohibited to do so. So how are we going to purchase something and if we don't really know how that company is being really managed? So that was strange for me.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, in his perspective, he's probably like really excited for it. Like he's been working under people his entire career life, and now it's like his first time to be his own boss and kind of take control of things and do it his way. So, I mean, in Sharpe's perspective, he's probably pretty excited for this business adventure.
Based on his experience, yes.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Like I always do this. Like I do like a little bit of outside research, and I just typed in like the name of the company and Jim Sharpe extrusion technology and Jim Sharpe, and what I found was actually like the second thing on Google was his LinkedIn page.
Yeah, I always go to those.
And yeah, it was his LinkedIn page, and then it said like he turned like a $3 million revenue company to like a $40 million revenue company. So obviously, like what he did, like really turned out for him, which is really interesting. Pretty cool.
Yes.
For him.
So from his perspective, it's pretty good.
Yes.
Oh, I did have a quick question. On step 1, it says, for question 2, it says, use the base forecast provided. How much did Jim's stake worth in 1993 if he sells the business for 6 times EBIT? And so his original investment was like $2 million, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And so you're just timesing the EBIT by 6, and that's the amount you'll get?
Well, what I did was because on 1993, he was going to have an earnings before interest and taxes of 632,000. So what I did was just to multiply that amount was 3,792,000, and he invested $2 million. So there was a difference of 1,792,000.
Okay.
Yeah, but I got 3.79 million is what his stake would be worth, and then the difference, would be 1.79.
Yeah, that's what I got. I got 1.7.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I was just double checking to make sure.
Yeah, that's what I did as well.
All right, cool.
And are we supposed to go over like this entire spreadsheet? I don't really know.
I'm not sure because we kind of did on the last one.
Yeah, on the last one it said like just turn in the spreadsheet and don't worry about doing your normal case study paper. But this one didn't say anything about that, so I'm like,
it has just the questions.
This one I think would be the study guide and the Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
So I just did both.
Yeah, so did I.
Okay.
So I guess we can jump to number 2. How has Jim Sharpe purchased this venture? What are the implications of his financial structure?
It's kind of weird.
Where was it?
I think it's on so many tabs.
I know, right?
I think. Oh, so agreed to purchase the business for $2 million, financed with $100K in equity, $700K seller note, $540K 6-year non-complete, a term loan of $510K, and a revolving line of credit of $197K.
Yeah, gotcha. Where'd you find that again?
It's on step 1. It's like right at the top. It says capital structure and payoffs. It's underneath
yeah. Got it. Yep. Yeah, so he didn't really have like much of his own money at that point, but obviously he wanted to just jump right into something. So used $100,000 in equity from his own savings, $700,000 in a seller note. The seller note came from the previous owner, correct?
I would think so.
And that was to be paid back over a series of time.
Yeah.
Along with the $540,000
Yes.
6-year non-compete.
Yeah, I think that was the deal.
And then the $510,000 that came from a bank.
Yeah.
With the $197,000 credit, revolving credit, line of credit. Gotcha. Interesting. Very interesting. So what are the implications of this financial structure? Well, I feel like Jim Sharpe is pretty confident that he can turn around and make this something good, like more so within like a 5 to 10 year period, just because like he's getting help from or money from like the previous owner. He's getting it from his bank and from his own money, and he doesn't have a lot of it.
Very interesting.
So
Go ahead.
yeah, I was just saying basically that I just think he's pretty confident that in the long term he'll be able to improve the state of this company greatly.
I agree. I was looking at the 5-year forecast or 6-year forecast, and what was weird is it showed like so the sales growth is about the same. It's kind of like shaky, but like his net income has steady growth. So I don't know what changes, like, because before the sales was like kind of shaky and was all over the place, but all of a sudden the forecast shows steady growth. So I don't know how accurate that forecast is.
Yeah, I think that's the difference, because before, like,
That's a pretty good idea, because based on his experience, he was able to divide.
Go ahead.
Some lag.
Yeah. What were you saying, Kevin? Kevin, can you hear us all right? I'm not sure why it's taking so long. Kevin, can you hear us? Maybe not.
Hello.
Shoot. Yeah, can you hear us? Oh man, that's got to be really delayed.
Okay, I will try to turn off the camera because it's very slow.
Saying like 2 minutes to get to him and 2 minutes to come back to us.
Hey. I'm going to tell him to leave the group and come back in.
All right.
Evan, try getting out of it and then coming back.
Yes, I can.
Oh boy. It's taking like a minute or two.
Hello.
And I've never seen like that long of a delay.
Yeah, neither have I. Okay, he got that. He left, so maybe he'll come back
Like
and work a little bit. That's difficult, man. Like sitting there talking, then all of a sudden, a minute later, it finally comes.
He's like still on question 2 or on question 4.
Yeah. But yeah, kind of like I mean, I guess we can kind of just keep talking about it till he gets back. But I think mainly like the main difference is before, like they would like go up in their sales and then they would go down. Like in 82, they were at 3,000. 83, they were at 2,800 basically, or 2,800,000. They were up, then they went down, then they went way down in 86. And I think just with his forecast model, there's just like a steady growth that was constantly going up rather than having it fluctuate all the time.
Yeah.
I think that's basically where he was getting his net income. But
now, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, great.
Okay, I think it's good now.
Okay.
So we were talking about like the forecast period, kind of, and his financial structure.
So let's move on.
Huh. Kevin, how long is it taking for you to hear me? Oh, shoot.
Well, I just hear what you just said.
There it is. That was a good like 30 seconds. Yep. I guess we just try and jump on to number 3. Okay, let's go to number 3. What should Jim Sharpe do on his first day as an owner of Extrusion Technology, Inc.?
Okay. Okay.
Let's give him another few seconds. All right. Well, number 3, like what should he do on the first day? I thought on the first day, like, I mean, there's not a whole lot you can really do on the first day. I felt like I think he just needs to basically, like, kind of give a little speech.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term. And then basically tell the company what his plans are, like kind of what he wants to do with the company, where he sees it right now, and he wants to like really bring it up a couple levels and like build the company up to become something a lot better for himself and for obviously all the employees. And then just have them go about their daily tasks, and then him just to monitor them, to just watch, to just see like and come up with his own conclusions, because he got a lot from the previous owner, but the previous owner, like, who knows like what the previous owner like really thought, or if those like assumptions were true. So I think he just needs to come up with his own conclusions about the company.
And Kevin brought up a good point, to present his action plan to improve and work with his company. I agree with that. Because I feel like if he presents them with a good action plan, then they'll be like incentivized to work hard, and they'll see like a brighter future with the business.
Yeah, and I think they need to see that, because I mean, it was saying like every 3 or every like 5 years they had gone on strike for 15 years or something. Like they were going on strike all the time, like the union force was. So yeah, I think that's an excellent point, is to get them motivated.
And what he kind of mentioned earlier too is he wanted to bring a lot of the stuff that he learned at these corporations, and he wanted to implement them. So like having like a good, you want to make your employees happy, and he was going to like implement programs that would make it so his employees would be happy, even if they haven't like unionized. He still wants to make sure that they're happy. And if he lets them know that like, hey, I'm going to implement these following things, and they'll be helpful to you for these reasons, and they'll be excited to start, and they'll work hard.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, like, I don't know, I feel like that pretty much covers that question. It's pretty simple. The next one was, what should his action plan be for the next 6 months, the next 12 months? What should his priorities be?
I think one of the major things that he needs to do is, it says that like the plant seems to be kind of like worn down.
Yeah.
He needs to go through and fix that. Like, because I feel like that'll incentivize the employees as well to work hard, because it's like you're coming to a job that, isn't just like a rundown warehouse.
Yeah, and that's actually what I talked about. That was my first point, was he should start with the overall like look of the building, the outside of it, painting it, because it like you said, it helps the employees, and then it also like presents it to their clients way better. Like showing up to an old rundown building makes you feel like kind of these guys can really get you what you need.
Right, and if he does end up needing investment money, investors are going to want to see a warehouse that's looking good. And especially you could look, oh, here's the before pictures when I first came in, and this is what I've done so far. And then any investor would be excited to join because they're like, oh, clearly he's working hard and he wants to improve it.
Yeah, and then Kevin said, on the case were mentioned some lessons he learned, so I support for him to convey with that company. Yeah, I think that's a great point. Like those lessons he learned, like share that with the company, like tell the company like his experience and the lessons he learned, and then share it with them so that they understand his experience.
Right.
Yeah, so like you were saying, I think first he needs to start with the overall look of the building, make sure it looks better, and then he should probably start worrying about upgrading, maybe possibly starting to upgrade that machine, do some repairs on it or something so it doesn't break down all the time, and then look at cutting cost. And then it said something also about how they were purchasing a lot more raw materials than they needed. He needs to like start looking at that immediately, cutting costs as much as possible so he can increase his contribution margin.
I agree.
Cool. So number 5. Did Jim make the right acquisition? Explain. I mean, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, based on like further research that I did, like just looking at his LinkedIn profile, obviously it turned out to be a pretty good deal for him.
Right.
I thought he had a lot of experience looking at bad situations and doing his best to make them good situations, and he did that, and it turned out to be really good for him.
I just want to double check. So like the point of this case basically was like, was it smart of him to, like, was the way he financed this a good decision, or should he have gotten investors? Is that kind of what we're...
I think so. I think so.
Because whenever we have cases like this, I'm always a little shaky because it doesn't give it. I didn't really see like,
a decision or...
It seemed like an evaluation type of a case.
Yeah, so that's what I thought as well.
So yeah, so going back to that question, then I think he did make the right decision, and obviously it turned. I mean, what you said, he managed to turn it into a $40 million business. So, I mean, yeah, it was a great decision on his part.
Yeah. And then Kevin said he made a plan, and out of 600 companies, he evaluated some, and then came out with the best option. Yeah. And I thought that was like a good way to like come to a conclusion about his companies. Obviously, he talked about like the whole process, and he learned a lot through that process of like making sure he had a pipeline of companies that he wanted to purchase. But I mean, I thought he did it in the best way he could, and he obviously did a really good job of doing it. Kevin, are you still with us?
Yes, can you hear me now? Good?
Yeah, actually we can.
Great.
That's good. Yeah, it was pretty bad there for a little bit, and we had to wait 30 seconds to a minute until we actually heard you.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Awkward.
Yeah. So I guess we're pretty much done, unless we have any other questions on like the spreadsheet. I think I have one question that I was kind of confused on.
I kind of wanted to double check my numbers with you guys, just to make sure my equations are correct.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So the summary financial model for sales growth, and I had some big negative numbers. Did you guys have that at all?
Yeah, like negative
Yes.
10.2,
Yeah, negative 25.5 for 1980.
1986.
1986. Hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, then our
So
numbers.
that is why this company was very irregular at the time he purchased the company, because they said they were going up and then going down. So they were losing a lot of money. They were increasing. They were investing. So that is why we have not something which is actually growing at a percentage rate, but they were going up and then going down until negative numbers and then going up again. So that was crazy.
Yeah.
And I also looked at his debt to equity ratio, and it looks really good. I mean, if my numbers are right, it goes from 14.1 in 19. Well, I don't know what that is. 1987.
Yeah.
To 0.4 in 1992.
Yeah, which is really, really good.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that's based off his forecast, but I mean, I feel like it's probably pretty reasonable growth.
Yeah.
And
I was looking too for a good debt to equity ratio. About 0.4 is where you want to be. 0.4 and less. So by 1992, he's at where he needs to be.
Yeah. So, and I think I remember one of the questions in the spreadsheet, whether it was the class prep worksheet or like step 4 or something, it was asking like why or what's the difference between choosing this and like a normal venture capitalist. I think that was step 4. I don't remember.
I think, it's on step 1, question 3. It says, how does this capital structure differ from that of a company backed by a venture?
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, that one I just said. He doesn't lose equity in his company compared to a venture capital backed investment. If he brought on investors and his ownership would be diluted. However, he may get more money that would help with growth.
Yeah, okay, that's kind of what I was saying too. I think everything else.
That's what he wanted. It was just to own the company instead of sharing the company.
Yeah.
So for step 3, I don't know if this is just like your own opinion. So step 3, question 2, how much would you invest in fixing these problems in the first year? What do you guys kind of put for that? Is that just kind of like?
So I think we're supposed to use the spreadsheet, the summary financial model.
Yeah.
And at the very bottom, it says the borrowing base calculation.
Okay.
And then the green is that it says like the excess borrowing base.
Oh, okay.
Is that like an excess amount of money he has to work with? That's what I was kind of thinking on that. I'm not positive, but
that makes sense.
That's what I finally figured out. So on step 3, number 2, I said I would invest about 200,000, and maybe I said anywhere between 150 to 200,000 on your first year. Spending money on the building, getting the building look more presentable, the inside, the outside, painting it, and then if you have some money left over, try and do some upgrades on the machine.
Yeah, I think I was making sure.
Yeah. But I think, any other questions on the spreadsheet? If not, we'll just do a quick summary and call it good.
Yeah, that was good for me.
Are you good, Kevin?
I have no questions.
Okay.
Yes, I am okay.
Okay, let's do a summary. So basically, from Jim's perspective, he was really excited. He wanted to get it done. He'd been working for other people, and now he wanted to be his own boss with 100% ownership within the company. And then number 2, how has Jim Sharpe purchased this venture? What are the implications of this financial structure? I think that was basically the question we were just talking about, Kevin.
Yeah. So it's just basically the loan from the bank, and then he doesn't have to pay back the person he bought it from. He's paying for it over time, not all up front. And he owns 100% of the company, so he's not taking any investment money.
Yeah.
Correct.
Next one, what should Jim Sharpe do on his first day as an owner of Extrusion Technology? Kevin, you had a really good point saying that he should like present his action plan to improve the company. I thought that was really good. And I think he just needed to come up with his own conclusions rather than just base all the information off the previous owner.
Yes, I think that will be the best option to go with, because he does not know pretty much nothing about his employees and the structure plan they are working with so far. So it will be very good if he presents his own ideas and ideals to work with, and in the end he was able to grow the company. So by presenting his action plan, I think that was the difference for him.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. And then number 4, what should his action plan be for the next 6 months, the next 12 months, and what should his priorities be? I think we've mainly just hit the fact that he should make that building look more presentable, have it made like even safer on the inside, paint it on the outside, get rid of all those weeds, make it look more attractive for people coming there.
Yeah, and like you mentioned earlier, fix some of the machinery so that it works properly.
Yeah.
To work with the inventory equipment.
Awesome. And then, did Jim make the right acquisition? Explain.
So I guess obviously we can't base it off of like additional research, but based off the spreadsheet, his debt to equity ratio is looking good for the future forecast. His sales growth is still a little weird. It's 15, 10, 8, 6, 6. So it's still kind of, not like a good increase, but his gross margin sales, that looks good. And his sales in general show a solid increase.
Yeah.
So that was a good acquisition.
I agree with that.
Yep. And like you were saying also, Kevin, how he picked like 600 companies within 50 miles of his home and evaluated all of them. And like it was kind of a trial and error process for him, but he learned a lot and it turned out to be a good thing for him too. So I think it was a very good decision on his part. All right. Well, I think we're good then.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. I'll send this over to you guys. Thanks a lot.
All right. Cool. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. See you later.